Wow, look at you. You all look wonderful. You're going to see yourselves. You look marvellous with your sort of glistening, I'm not going to say sweating, glistening skin. No, the summer's arrived, isn't it? It's lovely. It's here. Yes, thank you. I'm giving you feedback. I'm not. Thank you. Summer's here, and it deserves a bit of a cheer, doesn't it? Yeah. At last. So, yes, are you all well? That's a rhetorical question. Don't answer that. We haven't got time. And I do care, but we just don't have time. And we've had some busy times. We've had we had the coronation, didn't we? The coronation and Eurovision. Did you all pay attention to those two things? Yeah? No, good. You know what I thought? I thought what they should have done, it would have been better, they could have saved loads of money if they'd merged the two and had like Corovision or something, yeah? And I think that what would have been exceptionally good is if they then got, Charles, and he could have sung, I don't know, Roll Out the Barrel or something, or maybe it's Because I'm a Londoner, and accompanied by Queen Camilla on Washboard. And that way, we would have got some points. I think that would have been marvellous, but it didn't happen, did it? But anyway, they didn't ask me for my suggestions. But did anybody go to the coronation? Good answer. Did anybody watch the coronation? No. Oh, there's some hands. But there's very few, which I like. You're my kind of audience. That's good. I can let myself go because I was going to anyway. I did watch it, but not live. I watched it later, purely for research purposes, because it's absolutely true. I had nothing to tell you tonight when I opened, literally nothing. And then I thought, I know, I'll watch some old bloke put a hat on, and that will give me loads of material. And it really, really did. It did, because the things I learned when I watched it are primarily, they love dressing up, don't they? It's quite remarkable. We have just spent...
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, thank you, Susie. There isn't anything wrong with that. But we have just spent £100 million on a huge dressing up party, which, that's great because there's nothing that needs fixing, is it? I mean, all the roads are fine. There's no homeless problem, is there? So that's great. Let's have a party. So that's I noticed their love of fancy dress. But also, and I haven't watched the BBC or listened to the BBC for years, but they do that thing, don't they, that BBC commentary. They have a certain tone, don't they? That kind of, any state occasion, it's just sort of a monotonous, funereal tone, isn't it? And which is interesting, because there was one point I heard the commentator say, and everybody will remember where they were for this most joyful celebration. And I honestly thought I was watching a rerun of Queen's funeral last year. That's absolutely true. But then, the thing I love, the thing I do, love is probably too high a word, but the thing I kind of enjoy about these ridiculous state occasions, which we do quite well, but the thing I kind of get confused about, but I sort of like, is all the marching. The marching when they get the regiments to do all the marching? It's bizarre, isn't it? And there are two things about those regiments when they march. Okay, the first is that I kind of look at them and think, in a war, we would have no chance, would we? If we sent them out, we would be completely stuck. And I genuinely think that probably countries like Luxembourg are watching and going, do you know what, we could have her. What are they going to do? Bugle us to death or something? That's an intriguing thing. The way that they dress is odd. But the names, and this is absolutely true, the names, because they give names like, you get the lifeguards, don't you? You've heard of the lifeguards. And when they say that, I'm thinking of that, okay? Instead, so I'm not thinking of that, that's what I'm thinking of, but that's what we get. We get this lot here, and that's what's in my head. Which is kind of odd, because I look at the lifeguards that are patrolled out and marching, and I think, if you were on a fast deflating lilo, drifting out of the channel towards the shipping lanes, and on the beach, the bunch on the left turned up, you would have a bit of a problem on your hands. And also, it's not as if, the odd thing about that lifeguard regiment is that I don't know my geography particularly well, but I'm pretty certain that London is landlocked. And that, to me, seems like an extraordinary amount of protection for an emergency that's very unlikely to happen. I don't know about you, but I can't really see it happening. But anyway, the other thing about the coronation, so I watched it purely for research. And the one word, I think, that I would use to describe it, my one takeaway, would be that it was long. That's my assessment, that's my analysis, having watched it. It was very, very long. And that's interesting, because when you get to a certain age, and I am of a certain age, sitting in one place, for a length of time is not, it's not that straightforward. People need comfort breaks. That's why there are 2 intervals at the Bavard Park. I know my demographics. I know, you've all seen the flyers, it says there are 2 intervals. And that's why you're here, isn't it? Someone says, what are you going to see? I don't care, there are 2 intervals. I just don't care what it is. 2 intervals, that's why you're here. But, no, they I don't know how he did it. I don't know if it's kind of stoicism or just pure grit, determination, perseverance, or, and perhaps this is the difference between the royal family and us, or it's just extremely large bladders.